Holla ballers, what's going on? It's Preacher, and today in 2013 we're looking at the top tips to boost your DPS while under serious situations, alright? One of the big problems faced by players who email me and contact me is while they're hitting away at the training dummy, they get decent DPS, they get comfortable with their rotation. In fact, in most cases they feel like, hell, I'm pretty good at this class. Then they jump into an encounter where there's all sorts of crazy madness going on. There's things trying to chop your nuts off. You're trying to play really cool, top those DPS meters, and you start struggling. And your DPS isn't as you would expect. The reason for this is, of course, your mind is elsewhere. You're dealing with things to dodge, things to avoid. Boss, what is hell is he doing? Do I need to help anybody? All this kind of stuff. This stuff that you cannot simulate while whacking away in a training dummy. With Blizzard introducing a ton more spells in Mists of Pandaria, most of us have something like 5 or 6 relatively short cooldowns that we need to manage when we're under fire. When we're taking all this kind of damage and we're trying to dodge stuff and we're jumping around and we don't want to be the guy stood in the fire, we tend to forget about them, or we delay them for a few seconds here and there, and our DPS suffers as a result. This is not easy to manage. Back in the day, I would put my 2 DPS cooldowns here on larger buttons, so I could see them and track them quite easily. But with the way it is now, we actually need a better solution to this, and this is what I'm going to show you today. We also want a clean UI, because remember, everything I try and teach you is to keep your focus here, not here. We don't want to be looking down at these buttons. We want to see this nice, big, open area, so we can see things that might kill us, avoid stuff, and get ready. So watch my UI as I start to fight. Cast that frost bomb. Boo! Look at all this jazz that's just popped up. These are all spells that are not on cooldown. These are ready to go. These are spells to be fired. Now, these only activate while I'm in combat. So I've got things like Icy Veins, Alter Time, Frost Bomb, Frozen Orb, I should say, Freeze from my pet, and Frost Bomb. Things that increase my DPS, okay? Very important spells. I need to know if these things are on cooldown. I need to know if they are ready to be used. Am I getting the maximum benefit out of them? So this is a great way of doing this. It's a real top tip, guys. It becomes a little bit like Dance Dance Revolution, as you're going to be keeping your eyes on what's off cooldown. But notice they are right in the middle of my screen. So we've done our pull. Let's do our pull. We fire off Icy Veins. We use Freeze. We use Frozen Orb. We get our Frost Bomb rocking and rolling. We use Alter Time. All this kind of stuff, okay? So now you can see my screen is nice and empty, okay? And as you can see, as things come off cooldown and they're ready to be fired again, they just pop up in the middle of my screen. So if I'm dancing around the room and I'm dealing with situations, I'm like, oh, my frost bomb's ready, cool, I can fire that off. Oh, I've got things to dodge, I'm running around, I'm doing my usual stuff. Oh, my freeze is back. Getting the maximum benefit of those spells. It's so important, guys, it really is. And what you'll notice is passively, you're going to be using your spells a hell of a lot more, and you're going to do a ton more DPS, because no longer every time you run away from some spell, are you going to be trying to get a glance down here just to see how long's left on my Icy Veins? How long's left on my Mirror Images? How long's left on this and that? How long's left on my Frozen Orb? How long's left on my Freeze? This is a wonderful way of dealing with this, okay? An absolutely superb way of dealing with this. And it's becoming more and more common. More and more common. If you look at any class these days, they've got 5 or 6 spells. You look at Hunters, they've got 6 or 7 little fiddly ass little spells. Okay, so that's it in action, and as you can see, it's very, very easy. They just pop up whenever I need them, and that way, throughout the encounter, you're going to be getting the maximum benefit out of all your spells. And as soon as I leave combat, they disappear back to my nice, clean UI. So how do we do this? There are a number of add-ons that can do this. There's weak auras, power auras. I'm using Tell Me When, okay? I've got used to this now. It was a new add-on that I picked up in Mists of Pandaria as power auras changed. Tell Me When's been around for a very long time. So I'm going to open this up. This is the one I prefer. /TMW, okay? So here's all my spells. Now you can do this for any class. Any class. You can even use it for healers if you're worried about when your tranquility's up. It'll just pop up and let you know it's there. This is becoming the standard way to play at top level, because things are becoming much more dangerous. You need to be aware of when your abilities are up so you can be a total gangster and get the best out of them. All you do is, let's right click one of these. Tell me when it's... the reason I prefer this is it easily finds your spell. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to spell cooldown. You go from this drop down menu, you're going to choose a spell cooldown. You're going to enable it. And then you're going to type in the spell you want to track. So Frost Bomb. Frost Bomb. Now when you come to this list, this is what I like about Tell Me When. It brings up all the things that are called Frost Bomb. You're looking for the one that has the tooltip, which has mana and cast time and range and all that kind of stuff. That's the actual spell that can go on cooldown, okay? The other one is the effect. You want to track the actual spell. So it'll have a mana cost involved, a cast time, a range, all that kind of stuff. You're going to click that one. And then you're just going to go to conditions at the bottom. And all we're going to do is we'll go to this button, add a condition, choose a type, unit attribute, unit in combat. That's it. Very, very easy. Here it is. Unit in combat. This is what it'll look like. Unit in combat. Player. The answer is true. And okay it. That's it. Now, every time this spell is off cooldown and you are in combat, this button is going to appear. And as soon as you cast it, let me just get rid of tell me when there. As soon as you cast the spell, it's going to disappear. So you can see I've got my pet freeze there. Pet freeze for a frost mage is something you want to keep a good track on. So when my pet freeze, it disappears. When it comes back off cooldown, like you see, frost bombs come back there. And again, I've got all my up to 2-3 minute cooldowns. Feel free to add your 5 minute cooldowns in there. Don't over spam this. You don't want this screen full. So if you have something that you cast all the time, you obviously don't need things like Frostbolt in there. Frostbolt is always available. You don't need that. Evocation you probably don't need unless you're using the level 90 talent. You want to make sure anything that seriously affects your DPS in some fashion is ready to go, see, and you're getting maximum use. So I'm going to show you a fight now with this in action. Try this out, guys. You're going to get a substantial DPS increase, especially during raid encounters where you're dodging, ducking, diving, being that kind of guy. You're really going to see a difference, all right? So let me know how it goes. I hope you enjoy. Take it easy, ballers.